Olá, bem-vindos a Gayshin! Hoje vamos fazer a última missão dos Kazen, chegando ao final aqui do Festival Irodori. Muito triste, porém foi muito legal. Vamos fazer lá o ato 4. Contos de cores do Jardim Violeta, um palácio tingido de preto. Qual que vai ser esse babado, hein? Vamos lá. Vamos descobrir o que é isso. Ó, tá todo mundo aqui já. Olha que linda a nossa gangue.
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived.
Sim, chegamos todo mundo.
Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family. I was able to learn the entirety of what happened all those years ago.
Conta tudo.
In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was tasked with forging an important Goshinto according to an ancient forging diagram. Though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced, the process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was forged was defective. When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished. So the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment.
Ah, então temos aqui um famoso caso de incompetência.
The Kaidahara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan eventually tracked down the craftsmen near the seaside. However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end they were unable to prevent them from escaping by sea. The Kaidahara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and the family gradually fell into decline.
Poxa.
Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away shortly
Morta
thereafter.
pelos ferreiros, gente, que bafo.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation and put the family's status in the Yashiro Commission at jeopardy. This single incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation. But, thanks to my brother, everything is getting better now.
Ser humano maravilhoso.
The failure to forge the blade was ultimately attributed to a lack of required skill and finesse. The Kaidahara clan and the Yashiro Commission always believed that was the case.
Mas não é?
However, the story of the five Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill, but rather, the diagram had been tampered with by someone.
Estamos falando de sabotagem? Tem que apresentar provas.
Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission has still kept the diagram ever since the failed forging all those years ago. Might I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search for the diagram.
Nossa, tá bem guardada as coisas na casa dela, né? Ela tem o diagrama de uma espada de zilhões de anos. Vamos para a mansão Kamisato, vai rolar um babado lá. Vamos todo mundo pra mansão, vai rolar uma festa. Vamos ver o que vai ser esse bafo lá na mansão, gente. Adoro festa na mansão. Vamos ver que tipo de festa que vai ser essa aqui, né? Cadê? Fale com a Ayaka. Só tá a Ayaka? Cadê todo mundo? Eu vim pra uma festa. Ayaka, mulher. escondida onde? Ah, tá ali. Oxi. Isso é mansão? Olha, não tinha roubado isso aqui ainda. Pronto.
Everyone, I've managed to find the old diagram.
Olha lá, a festa.
Though the diagram is well preserved, you can still tell that it's seen at least 3 or 4 centuries of history.
Ela tem um negócio de 300 a 400 anos, gente. Eu não tenho o documento nem que eu fiz da semana passada aqui guardado.
That's pretty old. Is it still At this point, we can only try our luck and see.
Although the effect is not too obvious, you can still see that some words have now started to smudge. Kazuha, this is clear evidence that this chart was indeed tampered with. Someone framed the Kaedehara clan all those years ago.
Uau!
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late.
400 anos atrasada, linda.
When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times to my great-grandfather. But yesterday, the former family servant said that my great-grandfather even went to the Yashiro Commission to request that diagram from the head of the Kamisato clan. He then showed that diagram to Sure enough, my grandfather also failed. My grandfather left Inazuma in a rage after hearing those words. He didn't ever see Looking back at it now,
Oh, Kazuha.
Kazuha.
I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young. But later in life, he no longer...
Kazuha, did your great-grandfather really say, if you can't find the secret within? Did he use those...
Yes. The servants. My grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my great-grandfather's cherished bonsai tree.
Yes, it appears that you understand my... Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's failure, but instead he said, if you can't find the secret within...
Huh?
Olha lá o albedo.
So you're saying my great-grandfather may have very well known that the failure was due to someone's
Yes. The current evidence suggests that is highly likely.
I apologize, but would you all please accompany me to the Tenryou Commission? After I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last remaining estate. I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those belongings.
Ih, caramba, vamos lá com a Sarah agora. Sarah, cadê meus pertences? O babado vai ficar louco, gente. Oh, bloopers. Bloopers chegando. Coisa linda. Adoro ver esse clima ensolarado da sua foto. Dá vontade de tomar um sol. E boa noite só para as gostosas. Poxa, pra mim não? Ih, mulher, cadê meus pertences? Me dá as calcinhas do Kazuha.
What are you all doing here? Did something happen on Rito?
Ela sempre tá preocupada, né?
Kujo Sara.
Kujo Sara.
Perhaps you still remember me.
Lembra de mim, sua cadela? Você tentou me matar, tentou me prender?
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha, a a wanted criminal during the Vision Hunt decree. However, your arrest warrant has since been repealed.
Então a senhora não me chama de criminoso, né, sua cachorra?
Sora, we'd like to ask about the Kaidahara clan's property that was seized by the Tenryou Commission. Do you know where all their belongings are now?
O Gugus entre nós, boa noite, coisa linda. Como está os cachinhos?
Yes, the items seized at that time are currently stored in the warehouse next to the police station. Since Kaedehara has come back to Inazuma, those items should be returned to their rightful owner.
Nossa, ela deixou... Gente, ela guardou tudo. Eles são muito organizados nesse jogo.
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not here to reclaim those belongings. I just want to investigate them for a...
I see. All right, I'll inform the
Thank you, Sora!
Kaedehara, about the Vision Hunt decree.
Não tô acreditando que ela vai pedir desculpa, gente. Pera aí.
That's all in the past now, Kujo-Sara. There's no need to mention it again. I know you've also had your own convictions and struggles.
Não, Kazuha. Ela ia se desculpar. Ah.
However, may I ask something of you?
Que pergunta que ele vai fazer, né?
Yes, what is it?
Qual é a cor da sua calcinha?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma. As a result, those items from my family's estate are of no use to me, Madam Kujo. I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can handle those belongings for me. Please, sell them, and use the money to help the poor.
Olha, que nobre.
All right, I understand. I'll be sure to take care of it.
Só faltou um beijo. E ele impediu ela de pedir desculpa, gente. Não acredito. A gente ia ter um minuto de humanidade da Kojo-Sara e ele impediu. O OBS rolou, consegui até o Streamlabs, mas a qualidade não ficou boa. Não ficou a mesma qualidade do videogame, por exemplo, sabe? E eu não quero diminuir a qualidade, na verdade.
You must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings. Madam Kujo's already informed me of the situation. Please, come this way.
Come this way. Octavius! Adoro falar Octavius. Pois, buenas noches. Sou o pobre em questão. Quero tudo em primogês. Ai, eu quero tudo em primogês também. Mas você é gostosa. Obrigada, linda. Nós somos. Aliás, você é uma delícia, né? O Augusto falou que os cachos estão precisando de cuidados.
My deepest apologies. However, I have clearly marked the corresponding items, so they should... I'll be waiting for you at the door, please.
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout the building, I propose we split up and...
Yes, sounds like a plan.
E vamos lá atrás dos negócios. Então, aí eu decidi que eu vou comprar uma placa de vídeo. Na verdade, eu vou colocar uma meta de inscritos aqui. E aí, quando eu alcançar essa meta, eu compro a placa de captura, né? Vou fazer que nem a Dilma. Quando eu alcançar a meta, eu dobro a meta.
Oh, it's you. Unfortunately, I have yet to find anything of value here.
Whoa, this folding screen looks pretty old though.
Yes, perhaps if it were better maintained, then it could fetch a decent price. However, I doubt it could be sold in its current condition. I was taking a closer look just now and noticed a large piece of dirt caught in the fabric fibers on the back side. The soil is deeply embedded into the cloth. That means a great deal of force was used when the dirt was lodged into the cloth. It's likely that this patch of dirt, because this is not what we're... Let me think. If I wanted...
Albedo seems to be thinking...
O Albedo é um gênio, né? Deixa eu ver. Não tem nada aqui atrás, Albedo. Falar com quem agora? Vamos falar com a bêbada aqui.
There must be some around here somewhere.
O que você está procurando, linda?
Some of them are bound to have liquor inside.
Ah, não acredito! Ô, minha amiga, você tá procurando bebida?
Hey! Everyone else is trying hard to help, and you're over here looking for a drink?
Pai mão brava.
I merely jest, of course. Come on, we're close to uncovering the truth now. Why do you look so worried?
Ah, tá me zoando.
Well, Paimon doesn't really get why Kazuha told Sara to sell all these belongings. What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then wouldn't Kazuha lose the chance of finding out what really happened all those years?
I know you are worried about Kazuha, but if you ask me, he is stronger than you think.
Ah, ele é.
Since Kazuha made such a request to Sara, that indicates he's already made his choice. Whether we find out the truth or not today, or whatever it turns out to be, he's ready to accept it.
Será que Inteivashi disse a Alcoólicos Anônimos? O Vente precisa de um urgente. Ele precisa de vergonha na cara.
Not intuition. Rather, I've lived for a long time now, so you could say I have some experience in reading people. Leave the things here to me. You two can look around elsewhere.
Ele vai continuar procurando vinho. Bem, quem que nós vamos falar agora? Vamos falar com a nossa Twink d'água. E aí, linda, descobriu o que agora?
What did you find, Shincho?
Tchim-tchão!
I found quite the pile of old books. These books here are all related to smelting steel, and these are about the process of forging blades. This pile over here is all about plants and flowers.
The books about plants and flowers must...
I skimmed through them just now, but I didn't find anything particularly worth noting.
Nada. Livros. Livros antigos. Apenas livros. Olha, nossa gata Neon chegando. Boa noite, Denner. Como está a sua cremosidade?
Oh, it's you. I'm currently in...
Oh, since the Kaidahara clan was a family of renowned...
I'm afraid not. Although the sword rack is made of fine wood, the swords placed here appear to be quite ordinary. The blade on the sword hasn't been sharpened, but there are many signs of use on the hilt.
Let Paimon see! Oh, there seems to be... Paimon can imagine what caused...
I will continue investigating here and call you a...
Ou seja, ninguém encontrou nada.
I've found something that you should all have a look at.
Ah, você, finalmente. O Denner tá bem cremoso, adoro.
This flower pot was in my house for a long time. I heard that it was left behind by my great-grandfather.
Yeah, the plants seem to have been dead...
Well, after my great-grandfather stopped studying the forging arts, he picked up the hobby of keeping bonsai plants. Most of his prize, but he specifically left behind this dead plant at the time, and even instructed my grandfather not to throw it away in his will. My grandfather deeply regretted that he never managed to reconcile with but now that I think about it, my great-grandfather could very well have left it behind for other reasons.
Temos mistério aqui nesse bonsai.
Now that you mention it,
Yes. Let's take...
Vamos, abre ele. Um compartimento secreto no vaso.
do you think someone already discovered...
No, I do not think that is the case here. See the paper? It's quite...
Aí veio o detetive.
You mean to say that these sheets have been written with special ink, like that which Miss Kamisato found before?
Yes, I agree with this hypothesis.
Okay, let's give it a dunk then.
There is a pond outside the police station.
Vamos lá, jogar esse papel na água. Vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Tá jogando na sua conta europeia? Tô, amiga, porque hoje eu não consegui jogar. Hoje eu fiquei fazendo os testes aqui na live com o Remote Play. Fiquei configurando os softwares das streamings. Que eu apanhei desses softwares, meu Jesus amado. Hoje foi um dia que fui eu versus a tecnologia. Pro fim das contas, não dá em nada. Só confirmei que não ia dar certo usar o Remote Play.
Well, how did it go? Those weren't just plain old sheets of paper, were they?
Just as everyone guessed, After I sprinkled some water onto the paper, writing did indeed begin to appear on it.
Ah, é uma carta.
Oh? What does the letter say?
It is. I'll tell you what my great-grandfather knew at the time, but everyone,
Ah, ele tá cheio dos mistérios, Kazuha. Antes vamos até a praia? O que é? Ele vai pôr um biquíni? Vai ter que comprar placa, então eu vou ter que comprar a placa, gente. Vai ter que rolar a placa de captura mesmo. Mas assim, se vocês quiserem, né, a placa de captura. Então eu vou pôr, eu pus uma meta aqui de inscritos. Se a gente alcançar essa meta, é porque vocês querem. Então eu compro a placa de captura e a gente muda nossos streamings para o PC. E muito provavelmente vocês vão ver a minha carinha. Linda, leve e solta. Nossa, metade da grama carregou, metade não. Parece que tá parada. Essa área aqui passou e o outro não passou. Vamos ver o Kazuha de biquíni. O biquíni do Kazuha deve ser da estampa da Maria Joana. Olha o Shenner, nosso novo trabalhador. Se você está vendo essa live pelo YouTube, se junte a nós aqui na Twitch, a nossa família Gayshin, que é babado, confusão e tiroteio.
Kaedehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
Porque eu queria dar um mergulho.
it is. In fact, my great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan tracked the fleeing swordsmiths to this very location. Our hypothesis was correct. My great-grandfather was well aware of the truth behind the defective blades.
Quem foi?
It reads, "To whoever reads this letter, I, Kaedehara Yoshinori, have been all those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner Kamisato of the Yashiro Commission. I was not injured
Lá, 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 que
by the
lindo!
smiths. Rather,
It was night, and after the clues led us down to shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, there were no swordsmiths in sight, only a single eccentric stranger.
Quem?
This stranger claimed to be the one behind the failed forgings, and said that he had been patiently waiting for us.
Não!
He then threatened to destroy the
Não,
ride in
não,
Gokaden.
não, não fala que é o escaramuche.
That person was of able body, and in a blink of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai had been defeated. Commissioner Kamisato was severely wounded, and I barely escaped death myself. My hat had fortunately blunted a blow to my head. The unusual stranger could have easily claimed my life at that moment. But, after noticing my appearance, he stopped his attacks and sternly asked if I had any connection with the name Niwa.
Niwa.
I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared, I was adopted by the Kaedehara family. Upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Tell her this. My name is Kunikuzushi." He then turned and left.
Kunikuzushi é o nome dele? Gente, não pode ser. Uma aparição relâmpago de escaramuche, foi isso mesmo? Tô passada.
Wow. So that's what really happened.
yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan escaped from death and learned that the forging diagram had been tampered with by Kunikuzushi.
Kunikuzushi.
However, due to the encounter, the head of the Kamisato clan was worried that my great-grandfather would be falsely accused of being involved with the perpetrator. So even on his deathbed, the master of the Kamisato, because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden, my great-grandfather worried that the perpetrator would still return for vengeance. He said, "As the leader of the Kaedehara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness the decline of the Ishin art. But as a father,
Gente.
it is my priority to ensure the safety of my children. Yes, that's right. If my grandpa had somehow discovered that, unfortunately, he failed to... Miss Kamisato, it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grandfather described here.
I suppose the reason the head of the Kamisato house never spoke of this to the family was due to similar safety concerns. If the perpetrator was capable of tampering with even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-handedly defeat many men, then he is not an ordinary enemy.
Claro que não, né, minha amiga?
I will discuss this matter with Brother shortly, and investigate the identity behind the one called Kunikuzushi.
To be honest, as I read the letter, I felt much turbulence in my heart.
Turbulence in
Now
my
I've
heart.
managed to calm myself. My great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not
Ah,
wish his
bichona
descendants
mesmo.
to blindly seek revenge. Though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words, I feel like they are still valid nonetheless. I think what's most important for each person is not the past, but the present. Even though we must carry the burdens from the past, therefore knowing the truth behind what happened is enough for me. That being said, if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble, then I definitely won't turn. These are simply insights I've gathered from all that I've experienced. Thank you all for accompanying me in my search for...
Great! Now that we're done here,
Então ele já sabe que o babado foi feito pelo Scaramouche. Que babado. Faz uma meta na doação. Os streamers fazem tudo pra conseguir comprar as coisas para as lives. Eu vou fazer essa meta. Coloquei a meta aqui já. Tá posta. Quando alcançar essa meta aí... Quer dizer, de doação? Eu pus de inscritos. Existe meta de doação? Gayshin homofóbico. Ah, louca! Onde tem viado tem paz. Retorne para a Praça dos 5 Casem. Vamos lá.
today is the final stage of the Irodori Festival. Not only will there be Shincho's signing event, but Albedo's painting of Kuranushi will also be unveiled. Let's take a stroll through the festival venue. Maybe we'll find everyone there.
Vamos. Qual que vai ser a pintura, meu Deus? Olha, tá coberto. Que mistério. Ah, eu quero ver agora. Tá, já cliquei. Desculpa, cliquei de novo. Vocês estão parabenizando aí no chat? O Almes, acabei de ganhar a arma do Ayato para a Ayaka de milhões. Que inveja.
Albedo, why
Parabéns.
is Kuranushi all covered up? Haima wants to see what your Kuranushi portrait looks like.
Eles pedem dinheiro mesmo. Ah, eu tenho vergonha de pedir dinheiro, gente. É comum isso?
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony will be starting shortly. You'll see what it looks like then. I will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. I even made a special trip to see someone in order to complete it. They gave me some very valuable suggestions.
Ele fez uma visita para uma pessoa. Que pessoa?
Is that so? Anyway, there is still time before the ceremony. You may have a look around the venue first.
Procure por seus amigos na praça. Seu guarda, eu não sou vagabundo, não sou delinquente, sou um cara carente. Ah lá, o Vente. Ah, não tá bêbado ainda. Olha as duas bonitas aqui.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, what are you two doing together? Don't think we didn't see you two chatting up a storm just now. The moment we can...
Is that so? I'm afraid you're just overthinking things. We were merely discussing wine and food.
Claro, né?
I'm sure you two wouldn't be interested. Speaking of good sides with sake, I personally prefer fried tofu.
Ah, você adora, né?
Forget it. Even if those two are plotting something, they'd still never let us know.
Ah, eles estão falando de saquê, gente. Eu quero, vou sentar aqui. Me serve um saquê, um tofu frito. Vai servindo aqui a titia. Vai, gente, se mexe. Bora! Me serve, vadia. Não vai rolar. Bem, então vamos continuar aqui nossa busca pelos amigos. O Danny tá falando, acho que dá pra fazer pelo PicPay. E vocês põem uma meta. 10, 50, 100. Aí vai de você. O negócio é que você vai receber em real, né? PicPay, eu não sei nem se eu posso, porque eu não tenho mais conta no Brasil. Como que eu receberia isso? Pelo PayPal, de repente? Dá? Kazuha?
Kazuha, what are you doing here?
Kazuha?
Festival.
Eu tenho que pôr a pronúncia no lugar certo, não é Kazuha. É Kazuha.
I came here to take in the sea breeze. Such a bustling atmosphere is never really to my liking. I knew you were still worried about me. Thank you. But please, don't worry. The things I said in front of everyone weren't just pretty sounding Look. See this familiar harbor in front of us? Before, you could sit here all day without seeing a single ship pass through. Instead, all you would see were soldiers from the Kanjo Commission. But now, it's become a bustling place. Not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again, but traffic between here and Watatsumi Island has also been picking up.
Yeah, Inazuma has already started to change, huh?
I was thinking, in some ways, each and every one of us are similar to this country. It might take a different amount of time for different people, but there will inevitably come a day when each person can let go of their burdens. And when they finally let go, they are free to follow the wind as
Nossa, o
they
Kazuha,
please.
ele é muito sensível, ele é um poeta. Ele usa palavras, ele falou que ele sentiu uma turbulência no coração, gente. Como não amar esse homem? Além de lindo, é sensível. Ele deve ser aquele que no meio do sexo fala que te ama. Ai. Ai, peraí, cair aqui que eu tava olhando pro computador. Ah lá, lá. Olha os irmãozinhos. E aí, que tá rolando?
Ah, greetings, traveler.
Greetings, Ramirez. God of sexual desire.
Ayato! We finally get to see the busiest person of all.
Yes, there were many things which required my attention these past few days. Fortunately, the Irodori Festival is proceeding smoothly. The Tri-Commission cooperated closely to prepare this festival, so at long last, I can take a break today.
Sim.
Brother and I are very grateful for your help.
Thomas sure is taking his sweet time.
Ah, ele tá esperando o Toma.
Yes.
Ele tá fazendo a chuca. Você acha que é rápido fazer chuca, minha amiga?
Brother isn't busy. I was going to buy some books, but he said he wanted to come along. His treat. However, he forgot his wallet at home, so he asked Toma to go back and fetch it for him.
Paimon didn't think Ayato could ever be forgetful like that.
Brother always works diligently, and it's rare for him to... So, Toma and I really cherish such moments when he's forgetful.
Tadinho do Toma, gente. Nada mais que uma empregadinha mesmo. Só mais um? Só mais um. Deixa eu ver o que as bichas estão falando aqui. Vê o preço da placa de captura e põe meta de doação. Aí os fãs pagam. Ah, que seria lindo, né? Mas eu acabei de ver aqui, gente, uma placa de captura, essa que eu tô pesquisando. Ela chama HD 60 Plus. Ela custa a bagatela de R$ 1.759. Como que pode? E aqui, sabe quanto custa? 150 euros.
Traveler, Paimon, it's a pleasure to see you. Indeed it did. Thanks to you, the signing event went off without a hitch. And I must say, the readers seem most satisfied.
Shincho, is it just Paimon, or are you on the lookout for something?
You aren't mistaken, though I'm ashamed to admit it. But in fact, after all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential investment. If an acquaintance were to see me sitting here,
Ó, o outro pulando.
there would be no way to hide the truth from my father.
Seu pai?
Fortunately, the crowds of readers that came flocking over have kept the usual tourists at bay. Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real purpose of my trip. If you happen to meet him, please, remember to keep it a secret. Then, please accept my thanks in advance. I'm sorry that I can't chat long. There are still readers waiting in line. I'll see you later at the unveiling ceremony for Kuronushi's portrait.
It's time for the portrait's unveiling ceremony. Let's head over to the Five Castle Plaza.
Vamos, vamos. Cadê? Quero ver a cerimônia. Ai, será que vai ser linda a cerimônia, gente? Eu quero que seja linda essa cerimônia. Põe a meta em euros convertido para reais. Boa ideia. Ah lá, vai começar.
Today we have ushered in the final stage of our festival. And now we will reveal the final portrait of the Five Kasen, Kuronushi, which was done by none other than our guest artist from Mondstadt, Calx.
Paimon has no idea what Albedo's portrait looks.
Let's all count down together.
Vamos. 3, 2, 1.
What's this? This piece depicts nothing but a background.
Que isso?
I suppose Calx must have forgotten to include the character. Let's hear some words from Calx himself regarding the creative process behind this
Que
piece.
palhaçada é essa aqui, ô Albedo? Você tá louca?
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say that it was an honor to be invited to create the portraits of the Five Kasen are legendary figures from ancient Inazuma, famous for their works of poetry. As time passed, poems were composed about them, and they became the subjects of many stories.
Será que vai ter que jogar água pra aparecer?
I learned from existing sources about those stories that the character of Kuronushi is the deepest and most differing of the Five Kasen. Moreover, Kuronushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. It's as if he is a behind-the-scenes role of the Five Kasen. Perhaps we can assume that every creator had a different understanding of Kuronushi. So, in the same way, I also wanted to leave this character to everyone's own imagination.
Ah, não.
After all, the Irodori Festival is a place for everyone.
Yep, that's how the
Eu não vou aplaudir essa palhaçada, entendeu? Eu queria ver um desenho, eu queria ver escaramuche.
Well, it seems that our adventures at the Irodori Festival have come to a close.
Não, eu quero mais.
Oh, right! We still haven't figured out who left those Really? Come on then, who is it? Tell Paimon! Well, that makes sense. Otherwise, there'd be no way to give the right paper to the right... Right! Even though they were using stories to hint us toward Shincho's troubles, the real goal was to... Oh! Paimon gets it now. Well, at least Paimon thinks she knows. Let's go! We'll get to the bottom...
Quem, meu Deus? Encontre essa pessoa. Quem é essa pessoa? Quem que tá por aqui? Vamos ver. Não é o Vente. É a Rika? Não, a Rika? Nem te conheço? Te conheço? Não, não é a Rika. Quem que é essa pessoa? Será que é ela?
The one who left the stories of the 5 Kasen. I'm afraid you guessed wrong, Paimon. It wasn't me.
Não?
Really? Oh.
But seeing, because other than me, there's only one person left.
Quem? Ai, que mistério. Quem que pode ser? É você?
Ayato! You're the one behind the stories of the 5, but don't you think you overdid it a little? Leading all your friends on a wild hunt like that?
As it just so happens,
Ah, então foi você, seu safado, seu gostoso.
Paimon wants to see how you
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady Yai happened to catch sight of Shincho and the editor carrying the books away one night. She thought it was interesting, so she asked me to tease them a bit.
Huh? So it was Miko after all! Paimon knew it! This thing had Miko written all over it!
Eu suspeitei certo, então.
That's right. But using the story of the 5 Kasen to guide you to the Kaedehara family's secrets was my personal touch. As for my roundabout approach, well, yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred earlier, I happened to notice the bonsai plants left behind by Kaedehara. I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers, but it took me some time to figure out the secret. What Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter is very important for both the Kaedehara clan used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. It was my answer. Although he has the right to know the truth, the closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he also draws to danger. Of course, I could outright tell him the truth that I had discovered, but maybe he doesn't have the will that's required. If he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't be able to find the truth in the first place. Kaedehara Yoshinori left his message in a roundabout way. For a long time, I yearned for a suitable opportunity to convey this matter, right up until the night when a legend of sword was smuggled away.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Yeah, it wasn't only Kazuha. You brought...
I figured. I merely saw that this matter would be of value. And more importantly, I hoped that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the answers together, they would have reliable friends who would be willing to protect them and make measured decisions, because it is also very likely that you will face the same enemy together in the future.
Então quem é exatamente Kunikuzushi? Kunikuzushi, nunca decorei esse nome. Kunikuzushi.
You already know the answer deep down inside.
Sim, eu sei. É o
The answer is
escaramucho.
actually hidden in the portrait of Kuronushi. When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eye. As for the means of revealing that answer, well, you have used it many times before.
Ah, então tinha que jogar alguma coisa lá mesmo. Esperar até a noite. Ai, que legal! Entre 0 e 5 horas. Adoro esse horário, é meu horário. É o meu horário, gente. Inclusive agora já é meia-noite e 18 aqui. E ali vai ser meia-noite e 17. Olha que coincidência. Ai, credo. Imagina essa parede dos caramuchos aqui em casa.
It's getting pretty late, so nobody else is around now. So Ayato must have been telling us to splash water on the portrait, right?
Sim.
It's the Balladeer!
Nossa, essa imagem estava circulando na internet há anos. Então é aqui que ela aparece?
So he was the one behind the trouble all those years ago!
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with... As for the means of revealing that... Also, there's one last... I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain incident made me notice the bonsai plants. It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. I heard they had discovered signs that someone had entered the warehouse storing the Commission's articles of evidence, and I felt something unusual about that incident. So I told Kujo Sara of the Tenryo Commission to treat it as if nothing happened. In the meantime, I sent a member of the Shumatsuban to keep watch over the warehouse. And sure enough, someone was sneaking in and
You mean he was...
I let him search for a while, but in the end, he found nothing. Soon after, he...
Why didn't you send someone to catch...
The best way to protect a secret is to treat it as if it doesn't exist, is it not? After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedahara clan's belongings one by one. I am certain that the papers are the secret which the infiltrator sought to find.
Ah, ele não encontrou.
So, now on which part of Kaedahara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be protected?
Qual parte das experiências do bisavô do outro lá era um segredo que precisava ser protegido?
I don't... As for now, please, enjoy yourselves at the Irodori Festival.
Perguntas sem respostas. Ai, gente, acabou. Olha lá que lindo. Olha que maravilhoso que foi isso, gente. Que coisa maravilhosa que foi esse festival todo. Que lindo! Ganhei uma coroa! É a coroa que a gente vai pôr no Burst da Raiden. Bem, agora vamos fazer a anedota final, né? A última anedota. Amigas por correspondência. Sessão de resenhas de livro e um general não deu pra ler. Espere até amanhã do dia seguinte, entre 8 e 10 da manhã. Gente, eu amei o festival. O que vocês acharam? Eu achei que foi muito legal essa história de mistério, essa coisa de adivinhação, detetive. Envolvido um monte de gente de um monte de lugar. Tinha gente de Mondstadt, tinha a Yoimiya com a Klee, teve o Ito, teve a Kojusara, teve a Raiden, teve o Vente. Foi muito legal ver a interação desse povo todo aqui. Foi muito divertido. Queremos mais eventos assim. Podia ter toda atualização, um evento assim poderoso, né? Eu ia amar. Amar. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. E agora a gente se vê no próximo... na próxima anedota.